Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the bubble and a warm welcome. Happy New Year to you all. And Matt, our holiday week marathon has concluded, and we're ready to get into a lot of highlights from a busy week.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. It was a lot of fun going to all these different games and tournaments. Of course, one of the best times of the year, in my opinion, other than the state tournament for high school hockey. So we definitely had a lot of action, and we still got plenty more to go over this week as well.
So we're going to start it off on the girls' side with the girls' highlights. Kaposia Classic played at Doug Woog Arena in South St. Paul. This is a quarterfinal between Woodbury and Elk River Zimmerman. We pick it up in the first period. Loose puck turned over through the middle, and it's hammered home by Brooke Ganetz. Royals take a 1-0 lead. Later in the first period, though, it's Andy Huselid for Elk River Zimmerman. Dances in and puts it top shelf. We're tied at 1 after the first period. Watch this move here by Natalie Meter for the Royals and the Selly to boot. Meter puts Woodbury on top 2-1. And then later on the power play, it's Lainey Ganetz to Brooke Ganetz. The initial shot is saved, but Ganetz turns in her second of the game, 3-1 Woodbury. Elks would cut it to 1, though. Look at that shot. Tony Alm up over the shoulder. 1-goal game heading to the third. And then in the third, Danny Henriksen, the one-timer. It's a second goal of the game for Tony Alm, and we're tied 3-3. We go late into the third, though, about 5 minutes left on the breakaway. Liv Mishikoff gets the game winner. Woodbury would improve to 11-2 with that win and advance in the Kaposia Classic.
We go out to Braemar Arena. The Walser Invitational semifinals, Minnetonka and Andover. The Skippers trying to snap a 6-game losing streak to Andover, but the Huskies get the opening goal. Nice one there by Maya Engler to get past the defenseman. It's 1-0 Andover in the first period. Not too long after that, Huskies attacking in the offensive zone. Keep an eye in the high slot, or low slot rather. Nora Sauer gets the goal, and all of a sudden it is a early 2-0 advantage for Andover. Later in the first period, though, the Skippers trying to get back within one here. And check out this rebound followed up there by Ruby Rauch. A great goal there to get Minnetonka within one. Now into the second period we go. Skippers still trailing in this one 2-1. And you're going to see Ruby Rauch once again. Check out the snipe there. Beautifully done. Top shelf goal. And we are tied, folks, late in the second period now. Andover trying to break this one out. It's kept in by Josie Hemp as this one's going to bounce in front right for Lauren Mack, who gives the Skippers their first lead of the game with under a minute to play in the second period. And how about this one as well? Check out this play here by Gettle. She's going to go cross ice. What a save from Layla Hemp. Cross ice she goes, gets the pad down. Terrific stop there as well. The saves, though, not done yet in this one as Minnetonka is looking to add one more on a breakaway here. Great save made by Courtney Stagman to keep that one out. The Skippers would add an empty netter, and they advance to the Walser Tournament Championship game with a 4-2 win over Andover, finally snapping that 6-game losing streak they had against them.
The other Walser semifinal pits Holy Family against Edina. This is 10 seconds into the game. Lauren Zawoyski steals the puck and puts it in the back of the net. She loves scoring against the Fire, has done so in 3 straight games, and puts her Hornets on top early. Holy Family, though, later in the first period, nice feed here from Helmstetter below the goal line, finds sophomore Josie Lynn, who ties it at 1. This is when the goaltending show took over from Braemar. 1-1 in the second. Hornets with a chance. It comes to the line. Shot redirected, but it's the second and the third save there that stand out for Holy Family senior Sedona Blair. And we were just getting started with the goaltenders here. This is again still in the second period. And a chance out front here. It's Zawoyski again, and she gets 2 whacks at it. Huge right pad by Blair. We remain tied at 1. Into the third, still 1-1. Here's Hannah Halverson for the Hornets, working their way inside. Great move there, but flagged down with the glove by Blair. But next it was Uma Cornier's turn for the Hornets, as she has to come up big in the final 2 minutes. Watch this puck bounce around. Knutson gets loose in the slot and rips one off the pad of Uma Cornier as we remain tied 1-1. This would go to a shootout. Officially, it ends in a tie, but for the purposes of the tournament, someone's got to move on. Nice move there by Whitney Horton for the Hornets. Shut down by Sedona Blair. Are you sensing a theme yet? A lot of Sedona Blair clips in this highlight package. Here goes Paydosh for Holy Family to her backhand. Can't score on Uma. This shootout Went to 13 rounds before we found a goal scorer, and it didn't come here. Watch this move, though. Ellie Chapman goes between the legs, drags it back, and hits the post. A highly skillful move, but just couldn't elevate up over the pad. We take you later in the shootout. Maëlle Schugel loses the puck, and Uma Cornier off her line to clear it. We're in the 12th round at this point. We're getting deep into the shooters. Casey Cronin for Holy Family. 0 varsity goals, beats Uma Cornier to send the Fire to the championship game in a dramatic shootout. You see what it means to the Fire program. What I love about this clip, though, you'll see it as it rolls. The Hornets embrace their goaltender as well. That's how epic of a duel this was. It took 26 shots in the shootout to find a winner. And again, this one officially ends in a tie, so Holy Family can't quite claim a maiden victory over the Hornets yet. But they did advance in the tournament to the Walser Championship game that you will see here shortly in our highlight package. It ends 1-1. Sedona Blair 32 saves and 13 in the shootout.
Very impressive indeed. Third place game now between Andover, Edina. In the first period here, check out Uma Cornier, the Edina goaltender, falling on her back to make a sprawling save. Great one there to keep this one scoreless. So we will move on now to the second period. Scoreless after one. Gettel's going to get the shot here, but check out in front. It's going to come loose for the defenseman, Kaylin Mumm, who puts it home for the power play goal. Andover goes up 1-0. Late now in the second period. Hornets in the offensive zone trying to strike it. Comes free, and Hannah Halverson, the Wisconsin commit, gets the goal, and it's 1-1 now here late in the second period. We go to still in the second period, it looks like here. And check out this save here, once again from Cornier off the pad. Nice sequence there to make the stop and keep this game at 1-1. Now we go to the third period. Andover here working in the offensive zone, and right through the wickets of Cornier, Hannah Christensen gets the go-ahead goal. That is a big one for Andover. At the other end, Edina trying to tie it here with 5:44 to go in the third. Great save made by Courtney Stagman sliding across, and that's how this one would finish, ladies and gentlemen. 2-1. Andover takes third place in the Walser Invitational.
And now to the championship game, a Section 2 AA final rematch from a year ago, Holy Family and Minnetonka. This in the first period. Look at the hands from Josie Hemp. She controls that well, and on the follow, Lauren Mack picks up the pieces. Game-winning goal in the semifinals, and she gets her skippers on the board in the championship game. This 44 seconds later, Ellie Kleppinger from the point. Good redirect out front. Senja Leeper with the goal. Minnetonka takes a 2-0 lead. This is in the final minute of the second period, and a little bit of contact there, but we play on. Skippers on the rush. It's carried up ahead here by Ava Lindsay, who goes across to Josie Hemp. Bella Finnegan's going to eventually join the rush and take the shot. Watch Josie Hemp works her way to the front of the net, taps her stick. She wants it, and she gets it. Josie Hemp redirects it to make it 3-0 Minnetonka, just 6 seconds to go. That was a tough one for Holy Family, who trails by 3. They got an extended 5-on-3 in the third and did find a goal as the 9th grader Haley box nets on the power play. But that is all the Fire would get in this one. Minnetonka goes to 13-1 and wins its first ever Walser Invitational title.
We go now to Eden Prairie, the Midwinter Meltdown Championship here between Eden Prairie and Benilde St. Margaret's. And here's your opening goal of the game there, scored by Ellie Stewart for the 1-0 lead in favor of the Red Knights. We pick this one up. It's 2-0 Red Knights now at this point. And down the ice we go. Beautiful pass over for Grace Bendixson, who gets the goal on the assist there from Michelson. Now back in this one, 3-0 the score in favor of the Red Knights. It's going to come the other way. Check out the patience right there from Kaylee Koopman. That's a 4-0 lead for Benilde St. Margaret's. That's how this one would finish as they go to 7-4-1 on the year. Well, there's a look at our girls' highlights. Great stuff indeed. When we come back, we will take a look at the boys' highlights. Stick with us.
Behind every world-class athlete, there's a team who takes extra care to support them. At Affinity Plus, we take extra care with all your banking goals, from checking accounts to credit cards. Our biggest victory? Helping you win in the ways that matter most. Affinity Plus.
Your college experience begins with your dream. Your time at St. Cloud State will uniquely be your own, but your journey will be guided by our community. Be you. Be bold. Be a Husky.
What if there was a place where everything was hockey?
Oh, he can skate. Here comes Steves in on goal, all alone.
In Minnesota, there is.
Scores!
Welcome back to Inside the Bubble here on KARE 11 Plus. It's time now to take a look at our boys' highlights for the week. And of course, we had a very busy week of holiday tournaments. We're going to go out to the Dakota Ice Center first for Chaska and Rogers. The Hawks coming in 2-6, taking on the 5th-ranked Royals in this one. We'll pick this one up in the second period. Already 1-0 in favor of Rogers. And Brandon Swanson gets a beautiful goal here to make it 2-0 in favor of Rogers. The Hawks, though, would answer. Nathan Hins on the wrist shot here. His goal cuts the deficit in half to 2-1. Check out this play from Sam Rinaldo, the Rogers talent, as he'll come in and score here. Beautiful goal to make it 3-1 in favor of his Royals. The Hawks, though, would not go away in this one. This one's going to get tipped in front by Peyton Chase. Power play goal to make it 3-2. Keep an eye on number 21, Peyton Chase, again in front here, is going to clean up the garbage for the goal to make it 3-3. That's how this one would end. Maybe a bit of a surprise tie. Finishes 3-3.
We send it out to St. Louis Park for the premier holiday classic in the park. Hill Murray and Lakeville South as seen on Hockey Night in Minnesota, and it was a quick start for the Pioneers. Lucas Mann from a sharp angle, 43 seconds in. Pioneers take the lead. Just a couple minutes later as well, looking to add to the lead. Puck's going to end up here with Caden Samper, who makes a nice cut to the high slot and beats Jack Hawksprung 2-0. Hill Murray off to a great start. Later in the first period, good zone exit there by Scheffel, and it's up ahead here. Ashton Doms with the feed to the front. Nice move, Tate Pritchard cuts the Lakeville South deficit in half. But just about 25 seconds later, it's Hill Murray. They get on a good forecheck here. Nice feed from Ryan Madigan to find Jackson Reeves, who slings that one top shelf. 3-1 Hill Murray about 9 minutes into this game. On the power play, though, Tate Pritchard circling the zone, and he's going to find a shooting lane here in off the post. Beats Jack Erickson to make it 3-2 after 1. Into the second period we go. Board battle here. Cougars are going to pull it out. Ends up here with Jackson Ernst. Quick fire shot there. Puts it over the shoulder of Jack Erickson to tie the game at 3. But then right off the dot, puck's going to end up there with Graham Greeter. His shot knocked down, but Brady Ingebrigtsen slips it through. Pioneers retake the lead 4-3 on the power play. We send it to the third period here as they crash the net. It's cashed in by Xander Billens, but wait, waved off as the net was off its post. You can see it there. The right post of Erickson was off. So we play on. Lakeville South still looking for the tying goal. Watch out front. 14, Jackson Ernst gets the tip there on the long shot from Novak. He ties the game for the Cougars with about 4:45 remaining. And we are still here in the third, final minute and a half, as a flying check there. I don't know if there was any contact or not, but Simon Seidel goes flying. Looks like there was no call. We take it to overtime. Jack Hawksprung, oh, what a save there. And he just holds on. with under 4 to go in the overtime session, and that allowed Lakeville South to go on the attack. And as the Pioneers look to clear the puck, comes to the line, Ernst at the side of the net, and he roofs it. Jackson Ernst completes the hat trick, and the Cougars get the win over Hill Murray by a score of 5-4.
We go back out to the St. Louis Park Rec Center now as the Lakeville South Cougars looking to end the lengthy winning streak of the Chanhassen Storm in the first period. How about the Gold Breezers, by the way, shouting those out for the Chanhassen Storm, and it's going to be wrapped around by Caden Lee. He gets the opening goal to make it 1-0 in favor of the Storm. Still here in the first period, the Cougars trying to strike. Beautiful save here by Cam Hendrickson, the goaltender for the Chanhassen Storm. Still a 1-0 lead now in favor of Chanhassen. It'll come the other way, and check out the finish here from Jack Christ. Beautiful goal there for Chanhassen to make it 2-0 in favor of the Storm. We go to the third period now. Still 2-0 in favor of Chanhassen, and once again, it's Caden Lee who beats the 5-hole of Hawksprung, and it's a 3-0 win for the Chanhassen Storm. How about that? 9 in a row after losing their season opener to Andover.
Minnetonka not playing in a holiday tournament, but they did make the trip up to Grand Rapids to take on the Thunderhawks. And this is in the first period, fed to the line. Long shot gets through, and Liam Hupka, the defender, puts Minnetonka on top by 1. This just 20 seconds later, Skipper's on the rush. Nice feed out front, and Alex Lunsky, St. Thomas commit, off the pass from Max Krebsbach. It is 2-0. Power play for Grand Rapids, early second period. Luca Roloff feeds it to Will Stauffer, and a power play goal there to cut the deficit in half. This is a long shot from Danny Pasqua in the third, who puts the Minnetonka lead up to 2 with 6.5 to go. And Ashton Schultz with the empty netter. Minnetonka goes on to win 4-1. They will visit Hill Murray this coming Thursday night.
Wayzata, number 1 in AA, still unbeaten. They've had some close calls this year, but still unbeaten heading into this one. It's Maple Grove, though, that will get things started. Great finish there from Grant Leno for the goal, and it's 1-0, a shorthanded goal at that as well for the Crimson. Still in the first now, a few minutes later, as the Crimson come the other way, and check out the finish here as well. Beautiful finish there from Joey Imgrund for Maple Grove. It's 2-0 now here in the third, as the Crimson still on top. As I mentioned, keep an eye in the slot here. Number 16, Cade D. St. Hubert on one knee gets the shot to go to the back of that. It's 2-1. And then how about this? Just 23 seconds later, it's going to be the Trojans that get the game all tied up. Reese Wallen unloads into the back of the net. Beautiful goal from him. That made it 2-2, but the Crimson would respond just a minute and 26 seconds later, as the Crimson again here is Blake Steenerson with the goal. That makes it 3-2, and Maple Grove wouldn't be done yet. This is just a handful of seconds later as well, as number 18, Blake Steenerson, again, going to get this one to float behind the back of the net. It gets it to go, and it is a 4-2 lead. Wayzata would not go away in this one. Good block shot attempt here, but it's going to be followed up by Brooks Gengler, who gets the goal to make it 4-3. Unfortunately, though, for Wayzata, not enough in this game, as they're going to fall in this one. How about that? Wayzata doing their best Minnesota Vikings impression. Close games for them this year.
Rogers and Edina from Dakota Ice Center in Prior Lake. We pick it up early first period. Nice feed out front, and Jackson Smith-necked with the finish. Rogers on top early. But just a couple minutes later, it's to the point here as the Hornets will work it around. It'll eventually end up on the tape of Eddie Revnig, tipped out front by Jackson Evers through the 5-hole of the goaltender, and we're tied at 1. About halfway through the second period, Rogers on the power play here, and that's a great feed for Carson Melquist. Feed from Parker to Shane. Royals back on top 2-1. Into the third, still 2-1, as Rogers looking to break the puck out, but a good forecheck by the Hornets. Dexheimer's long shot tipped in again by guess who? Jackson Nevers, and he ties it at 2. Into the overtime session. Long pass floated up the ice. This one's going to bounce around. Good play on the trail by Lucas Cole, who finishes it off for the Hornets. They win in overtime, and Edina, don't look now, they have won 7 straight since dropping their opening 3 games. Rogers winless after winning their first 6 of the year. And that's going to do it for our highlights package this week. We'll be back with our SCSU Player Spotlight after a quick break.
They say good things come to those who wait. But greatness, that's a different beast. It doesn't come when it's called. It won't wander up to those who do nothing. You have to bait it with the sweat you leave on the ice. You gotta push through the pain, smile through every ache, and suffer every shift. You gotta chase it, all in the name of the game you love. Because greatness comes to those who take it.
Behind every world-class athlete, there's a team who takes extra care to support them. At Affinity Plus, we take extra care with all your banking goals, from checking accounts to credit cards. Our biggest victory? Helping you win in the ways that matter most. Affinity Plus.
Welcome back to Inside the Bubble. On this week's SCSU Player Spotlight, we had a chance to catch up with Grand Rapids Greenway sophomore sensation Mercury Bischoff, as her and the Lightning program played in the Walser Invitational in the Twin Cities this week. Mercury is all about hockey, family, and spending time on the lake, and is a self-proclaimed country girl. Let's head out to Braemar for the story.
Yeah, I mean, Bischoff's a hockey name in Grand Rapids, obviously, and you got the cousins, you got Grant's family that played at the U and his son Jake, and we have Jazzy as a captain D on our team, and then this is a cousin family. And
my brothers grew up playing, so I kind of just like started the sport with my family. We'd always skate outside of like my grandparents' house, and since my brothers played, since they're a bit older than me, I'd just always go out there with skates, and I just love playing.
Her game is way more unique than her brother's is. I mean, it's the deception, it's the change of speed, it's the agility that she shows on the ice, and obviously her breakaway speed at times as well. So just a really, really unique skill set. And
it was a big change, I think, because I've never played girls before that. So it was just a big change in like the environment and on the ice. For the first year, after games, I'd like be sad and like want to like switch back to boys, but I knew like I couldn't do that for my team and stuff. So. But I don't know, it's just like sad because it's like a huge difference between girls and boys hockey, just like the competitiveness and stuff. And so it was a little bit harder going from that to girls, but it slowly reached out to be good.
You know, I obviously watched her up through boys hockey up to Pee-wees, and reached out to the family, and you know, someone we wanted to be involved in our high school program at a very young age, and had that acumen right away, and has just taken off since she's gotten there, and thankfully she's really coachable.
I think just growing with the boys, like I feel like they play like smarter. Like I've had like really good coaches growing up, and my brothers, like I've always skated with older like kids, so that's helped a lot because it's better development. And then I love skating on my edges, like that's my favorite thing. And we have like programs at our back end Rapids that help with our, we just like skate, have edges that we do in just camps.
You know, tennis in the fall to kind of get her, you know, ready around Elite League, and I just think she does things the right way, and she's got kind of a wry personality and wit, so I think they really enjoy her sense of humor as well.
Hand-eye coordination, yeah, definitely competitiveness. I'm not one of the best players out there, but it's still fun, like to do. It's another sport, keep me active and stuff. I don't know. And there's a couple like of my hockey teammates that play too, like Molly Pierce, and we play together once in a while, which is fun. So it just is an extra sport activity to play. That also keeps me in shape for hockey.
Yeah, so I would say the playmaking and the passing is an underrated part of her game. When you watch her, we have some really nice players that complement her and play with her. A senior in Callie Reed and either a junior or a sophomore that kind of go in and out of that lineup and really complete that line. To go along with her deception and her skating and her agility, you see the vision, the high hockey IQ, and I really think that plays into her goal scoring as well, where her change of pace is not only is it uneasy for the defender on zone entry or in zone when she's cycling, but also with the goalies. One area that we've kind of pushed her to work on, and we saw it with a goal against Wayzata yesterday, was a cycle play where she exploded off the boards, and it was one of those 1-foot shots that the goalie wasn't expecting, short side high, barring in, and that's a part of her game that she did not have 2 years ago. So her shoulders and forearms are getting stronger, working out with her brother, and now she's starting to take some of that stuff that.
I love it there. Sometimes I wish that you had more like stuff around us, but I like our little town. It's not like it's not many popular, but I like to be in the lake a lot. I live in the middle of nowhere, so I'm like a country girl, I guess. I don't know. So I hunt a lot. Yeah.
That whole community, I think, mobilizes around some of our really great players we've had even recently. Claire Vekic and Sadie Peart playing college hockey and Miss Hockey finalists, and now obviously Mercury with her level of play and some of the other really good high school hockey players we have. And just this summer she's helping out with the summer program, youth summer program, with our youth coordinator Jeremy Carlson. And one day she comes into the coach's room because I happen to be there with my daughter being out there, and she's like, "Yeah, I need a black pen." And I said, "Wow, what do you need the pen for?" She's like, "I'm signing autographs right now." So, but again, goes about it in a real humble way. And the girls want to get the banner signed or the jersey signed or the hat signed right now, and they know she's a special player. And
well, this week we are introducing a new segment on the show called the Inside the Bubble Breakdown. We'll have our very own Pete Wagner. This week he is going to take a look at the play of St. Louis Park goaltender Josh Middleton, and a lot of great saves from him in a game earlier this year at the Edina Holiday Classic against the Edina Hornets. So we'll throw it over to Pete. Pete?
Thanks a lot, Matt. I'm looking really forward to this segment. Many of you that are in the rink see our MN Hockey TV cameras with Spidio as our partner throughout the state of Minnesota. These cameras don't only serve as 4K high-end streaming cameras, they also serve as NHL-level coaching tools, as there are a number of teams that are utilizing this, and many high school teams are as well. What we'll do with this segment is we're going to go inside the game a little bit, and in this one, it was the St. Louis Park Orioles and the Edina Hornets at the Edina Holiday Classic a few weeks ago. I had Matt Harrington producing a game with me, and Matt, I had asked you to highlight clip everything, and he's saying, why? I said, don't worry about it, I got it. This is why. Because in about a 4 to 5 minute period, in the third period, Josh Middleton, the junior goaltender from St. Louis Park, under complete siege, had different types of scoring chances. He had to be athletic, he had to have hockey IQ, he had to read the game, read the play, and there were some breakdowns that occurred, some created by the Hornets, some created by the Orioles themselves. It's part of the game. It's what happens. So we're going to take a quick step into the Spidio Perform tool, and we're going to pick up the first look right here. Now watch this as the Hornets come in. You've got a linear approach to the defense right here, and you have that one guy that's high. We'll see how open he is right here. Look, he's wide open, but now, there was really, the shooter didn't see him, and he ran out of an angle. The goaltender knows that, so he's going to honor that and stay on the post and make the save. This isn't over yet, because the puck is going to come up on the wall. Boom, look at this. You got a board battle. That's what it's all about. Win your board battles, go to the next level. It's very simple. Okay, so now watch this. We'll pick it up, and you'll see 3 of the St. Louis Park Orioles get collected in this mess. Look at this. Boop. 1, 2, 3. Now with this, you've got the Edina player with the shot straight onto the net, and then you got another one that's down the slot. Options for the Hornets. Middleton squared beautifully to the shooter, but he's also in an athletic position to be able to address what could be a beautiful pass and a beautiful save. Goes from right to left, sprawls, makes the save. Now another opportunity that we see against Middleton. Now look at that. Again, you have a player that's lurking up high that's open. If I'm Kurt Giles, I'm saying, guys, those guys are so open. That's a little bit of a one-on-one battle on that wall you'll see right there. But as things unfold, it becomes a 2-on-1. And watch this chance. You'll have a wide open net coming up here. And boom, look at that black line there. That's all gaping net right here. But we take a look. Middleton has no choice but to sprawl. Watch this. He'll go old school Mike Palmatier. Stack the pads. When you do, you got to have the blocker pad up over the hip. He did it beautifully. We're going to take another look for you young goaltenders at home. You don't see that much anymore. Stacking the pads, it's just a lost thing of art. It's unbelievable. Now, one more look here. Hornets are on the power play. And you'll watch as you have a battle that's ensuing right there in front of the net area. This is, again, sure, we talk about board battles and we talk about these battles out front. Great job by the big player, the big man down front, down low for the Hornets to occupy the defense. So they employ the diamond, do the Orioles. But look at that. Lurking on the off wing, way up high on the boards, is a player that's going to come into play here. As the Hornets move the puck down low, you see him. There we highlight him for you. He's going to work his way. It's going to be a perfectly feathered pass that'll get through this box right there. How that gets through there is quite impressive. Now, Middleton knows he saw the guy coming. Watch him burst off of that right post and bust over to his left and make an absolutely terrific save. And I will tell you, I have called a lot of hockey games, and I've watched a lot of goaltenders. I've coached a ton in my life. And to see a guy play that smart and that athletically is something special. That is a good example of what we're going to do here on the breakdown segment. And next week, we're going to have something from the Hopkins Pavilion. We're going to have multiple angles. So we're going to take a look at some entries and exits and some other things that are going on in the game.
Behind every world-class athlete, there's a team who takes extra care to support them. At Affinity Plus, we take extra care with all your banking goals, from checking accounts to credit cards. Our biggest victory? Helping you win in the ways that matter most. Affinity Plus.
Your college experience begins with your dream. Your time at St. Cloud State will uniquely be your own, but your journey will be guided by our community. Be you. Be bold. Be a Husky.
What if there was a place where everything was hockey?
Wide skate. Here comes Steves in on goal, all alone.
In Minnesota, there is.
Scores!
Welcome back to Inside the Bubble. Time to take a look at our KARE 11 Top 11 rankings for the week. We will start with boys class single A, and it's Warroad and Hermantown remaining up top. Both teams unbeaten. Orono at 9-1 slots in third ahead of Matamidi, who lost in the past couple weeks to their rink rival Stillwater. Litchfield, Dassel, Cokato, and Northfield are both up. Detroit Lake stays the same. Two Rivers suffers its first loss and falls to 8. East Grand Forks at 500 in at number 9. New Ulm at 10, and Fergus Falls the only team to debut at 11, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Warroad and Hermantown. I think those are pretty clear 1 and 2. You could really argue maybe even that Hermantown, and Warroad could flip. But then I think after those two, it starts to drop off just a little. Orono's been having a terrific season, definitely a team to keep an eye on come March. And then, of course, Litchfield, Dassel-Cokato also having a great season at 8-1-1. And yeah, Fergus Falls debuting as well. They've earned it in my mind. So overall, pretty solid rankings, I think.
And we'll move on now to the boys' AA rankings where, wow, we have a holiday tournament shakeup here. The Chanhassen Storm to number 1 for the first time. That is because Wayzata lost to Maple Grove. A couple teams bump up. Edina has won 7 games in a row, as we mentioned back in our highlights package, including a win over STA in the holiday tournament. So they dropped to 7 due to the Cadets. Rogers continues their tumble. Andover back in. And how about Champlain Park? The Rebels in at 11. Big time Northwest Suburban powers in here. Talk us through this, Matt.
Yeah, well, basically on the entire right side of the graphic here, Northwest Suburban. And, of course, you got Maple Grove in there as well. But Chanhassen, number 1, I agree with this 100%. They've won 10 games in a row. They haven't done anything, in my mind, to not be number 1. So I think well-deserved. Minnetonka at 2, I think also very good. Edina debuts, I mean, we thought the sky was falling at first for the Hornets. They've turned it around. Well-earned for them to be in. Cretin-Derham Hall, they're new. They do have 4 losses, but all of those losses are to teams within the top 10, including Hermantown, Maple Grove, Wayzata, and St. Thomas Academy. So they've split with STA. They just beat them recently. That's why they're ahead of them in that department. And then Rogers, of course, they've struggled a bit recently, winless in 4 straight, but they do stay in at number 9. And Champlain Park, 7-2. I've been a big fan of this Champlain Park team. I think they're underrated, and I'm glad that our rankings committee took them into consideration this week. Their only losses were to Woodbury. That was very early in the season, and then to Andover in overtime. So I'm a big fan of Champlain Park, and I think it's well-deserved. They're getting credit here this week.
All right, let's throw it over to girls single A next.
We will indeed. Warroad, 13-1. They remain the same, as well as Holy Angels at number 2. Proctor, Hermantown, and South St. Paul moving up, along with Moose Lake and Simley, who go at 5 and 6. And then Mound Westonka, number 7. They are debuting this week, along with Duluth Marshall, who returns to the rankings. Dodge County and Orono go down. Brandon Mankato East staying the same.
Yeah, at this point in the season, we've reached the point where Warroad has played a good chunk of this top 11 and, of course, beaten them all. I'm interested in Simley South St. Paul will play this week. That's a section preview coming up. Mountain West Tonka, you may see them in at 7. Orono's fallen quite a bit. That's an intriguing one, but Mountain West Tonka did beat them head-to-head, so that is why the Spartans fall to 8. But really, as I'm looking at these rankings, teams 2 to 9, maybe even 2 through 11 are very competitive. I mean, Duluth Marshall back in the rankings this week after a slow start to the season. They pushed Holy Angels to one of their best games of the season, and the Stars had a couple losses to AA teams in the Kaposia Classic, so they're not going to be knocked too much for that either. So really, the gap from 1 to 2 and then 2 to the rest, it's really Warroad kind of running away with things at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that 100%. We'll go to the AA side now for the girls. And we have a new number 1 here as well. The Minnetonka Skippers are number 1 at 13-1. Gentry Academy does fall through no fault of their own to 12-1-0. They're at number 2. Andover as well, suffering a loss. They take 3rd place in the Walser tournament to go to 10-2. Edina stays the same. Holy Family moves up. But then we've got 3 newcomers, Brandon. Centennial Spring Lake Park, Lakeville South, and Stillwater. We've seen some of these teams already this season in the top 11, but returning back into the Class AA top 11.
Yeah, Centennial Spring Lake Park with a strong record in the Northwest Suburban as well, and they played well in their holiday tournament, as did Stillwater. They were both in the Blake Breck tournament and had good results. Lakeville South up to 10-2. Really, teams 4 through 7, we were talking about this a bit, but Edina has played close games against all 3 of these teams, Holy Family, Hill Murray, and Maple Grove. As you see, it does go in as a tie, their game against Holy Family from the Walser. The shootout doesn't count in the high school league standings, if you will. Moorhead, they played competitive enough against some top teams to stay there at number 8. And then Minnetonka, as you mentioned, finally getting over that hump against Andover. They now have a split with the Huskies, so they can move ahead of Gentry Academy in our power rankings at 13-1. Gentry is going to be a little bit of a mystery throughout the season. They don't play quite as tough of a schedule as Andover, Edina, or Minnetonka. However, the Stars will play Holy Family coming up this week. And now time to take a look at our top network games of the week, ringing in the new year with some hockey. We'll start on the boys' side on Tuesday, January 3rd. Matamidi at Benilde St. Margaret's. That same night, it is Shakopee at Eastview, a South Suburban battle there. Greenway travels to Hibbing Chisholm on Thursday night. Friday night sees Grand Rapids and Duluth East, two programs having solid seasons. Always a big rivalry there. And then Wayzata at Minnetonka in Lake Conference action on Saturday. Matt, what stands out to you?
A lot stands out to me, Brandon. I think certainly the game of the week on here is going to be Minnetonka hosting Wayzata. That's number 2 versus number 4. Looking forward to that one. And then, of course, Grand Rapids, Duluth East, always fun when those two teams meet. But, of course, you got a Class A power in Matamidi taking on a Benilde St. Margaret's team that I think all of us are still trying to figure out where the Red Knights fit in the picture in AA. But still a lot of good games. And we'll get to see that here on action with your season pass on MN Hockey TV. And we'll take now a look at the top 5 girls games of the week here on the MNHockey.tv network. We'll start things off on Tuesday night, a good one here between East Metro and West Metro, Stillwater and Edina. Then also on Thursday, Grand Rapids Greenway will take on Brainerd Little Falls. Then, of course, the Blake Bears, who have been improved lately, will take on the Andover Huskies on Friday night. Then Orono South St. Paul, a good battle there in Class A. And then perhaps the game of the week, Gentry Academy taking on Holy Family, Brandon. A lot of good games here as well.
Yeah, there definitely is. I like the North battle between Grand Rapids, Greenway, Brainerd, Little Falls. Two good teams there. Orono and South St. Paul, the Spartans have had a few losses lately. They have to look to recover against South St. Paul in the top 5 at the moment. And then Gentry at Holy Family. Gentry had a really good week at their holiday tournament here this week. Holy Family might be their toughest test the rest of the way. That one on Saturday in Victoria should be a good one. And now time to take a look at our Hockey Night in Minnesota games of the week. And we have 2 really good matchups for you this week. Starting on Thursday night, Northwest Suburban Conference Maple Grove visits Andover for a 7 p.m. face-off. Matt, these two teams, of course, met in the state championship game a year ago. What a great game we have on Thursday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Who could forget that classic double overtime win for Andover in the state championship? Looking forward to seeing what they provide for Maple Grove. I think both of these teams kind of got off to a slow start, and we're starting to see them come back a little bit. Maybe Maple Grove more so than Andover, but it will be a very good test for the Crimson against Andover. We also have a good one on Friday night as well. We have number 1 in Class A Warroad making the long trip down to the Twin Cities as they will take on the Edina Hornets, who, of course, are having another great year in Class AA as well, Brandon. And again, we're getting that Class A versus AA, but this is a really even matchup on paper.
I'm very intrigued by this matchup. I mean, Warroad plays one of the top schedules in the state, really regardless of class. Maybe not in the depth, but they certainly don't shy away from the top teams. They'll take on the Hornets on Friday night, and we'll get a better idea where they maybe fit in with some of the top teams overall in the state. Don't forget to check out our Overtime podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. We have new episodes coming up soon.
And, of course, don't forget to follow us on social media as well. You can follow us on Twitter at MNHockeyTV, Instagram at MNHockeyTV, and also MNHockeyTV on Facebook. Well, thank you so much for tuning into episode 7 of Inside the Bubble. For our entire crew, our producers Todd Geisler and Glenn Gray, executive producer Pete Wagner, and, of course, my co-host Brandon Spratt, I'm Matt Harrington, wishing you a very happy new year.